Hello, 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 Holy Ones. Thank you for being in this space with me today. I have a beautiful divine guest with me named Debra, and we are going to go into some glorious spaces of higher dimensional connectivity, our multidimensional beings. Yes, you're multidimensional. Many may know this already, but we have so much beauty to share today. So come with us on this journey of love. Welcome, beautiful divine Debra.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Quickly, we'll give them a background. Can you let us know how you found this space?
Oh my goodness. Probably it's always divine timing, but probably maybe 2020, maybe I don't know, end of 2019. At some point you popped up on my Instagram, and I remember seeing this beautiful light shining on your face, and I could see the orbs, and your light language just spoke to me because it I was already speaking light language for many years, but it was such a profound connection with my heart. And then I started really looking for you. And as I started to navigate some of your other videos where you were connecting to the grid, or just in general meditations, you're putting out your light language, I thought, oh, this is what I've been having in my thoughts. This is what my heart speaks to me. And it just resonated with me so much. And I especially liked how you always say it meets you where you are. So, for me, many times I've navigated other um, modalities of healing, but I felt that sometimes it was very rigid. You have to do it this certain way or this way. And my hands and my voice would be going all over the place, not following the rules. And, and I would feel sometimes, oh, I'm not doing it right. I'm doing it wrong. And the more I listened to you, I felt it opened up more of myself to allow who I am, and to trust myself and know that everything coming forth through me, my voice, my hands, um, you know, is the divine. Oh, the um, just coming through me, my higher spaces coming through. And I think many people doubt themselves. So you have just been a beacon of light, um, you know, in your classes, in your YouTube, your Instagram. I think helping myself, certainly, but other people to understand who they really are. And we always judge ourselves. We judge ourselves against other healers or other people in general. And it's, I don't know, I don't even have the words to express it. But it's really allowing us to recognize our soul. And I see it even coming through my work more and more and more. And I never question it anymore, because sometimes it's very humorous, because they're using a lot of imagery to get the message to me, to convey it to the client or a loved one.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Ya kukua nene ia tau kukuai iprutua nene. Thank you, Holy One. My being, yara sakanea taua I know you're feeling this as well. It's this vastness. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So we are multidimensional beings, and we are learning that remembrance is flooding in, right? And we are learning that we have the ability to live as multidimensional beings. And so what Deborah is talking about, what I'm talking about, what many of you have experienced and or are tapping into, is that flood of us, that wave of us, coming in, and the languages that we're speaking. Sometimes people will say, I know who you're channeling, or I can feel who you're channeling. And I do believe there's an open channel, absolutely 100%, but it is us. It is us. It is our divine being. My being knows what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Is not the concept of the outside taking over and something being brought forth in some manner, but we are the door to the vastness of our wholeness. Now, our words do hold that without analytical explanation. So when Deborah said that she was doing her best to explain it, right, with the human dialect, right? When her languages of light are coming in, they are her allowing the flow of the consciousness, the understanding, the energy, the teachings, the guidance, whatever this is, right? Because it's all of it, to come through her light language. All right. That's a term we've given to it, but actually it's bigger than light language. That's just a term humans have given to it. So keep that in mind. If you are drawn to the languages of light, you watching this space with us now, yes? If you are drawn to them, or you have them happening for your own self, and they can happen in different ways. Deborah mentioned this as well, hands wanting to move, the voice can speak it, you could draw it, you can dance, there's so many ways, but you're conveying the divinity of you through your form and through various ways that your form is able to communicate. There's so much happening with this, and I told Deborah when we started and I hit the button that I would do my best not to over talk, go on and on, but there's so much to share here. One really important part is, Deborah, I want to ask you your thoughts on this. When we open up to allowing ourselves more, which is what you were talking about, I believe as well, right? When we open up more, we truly open up more, like our abilities, our senses, everything starts coming on more. And, we start being able to see and feel and understand beyond what we've known as what we've thought was all there is. So how do you have anything to share on that, about trusting oneself and allowing that opening?
Well, you have to almost allow the human to step away, and just knowing that the divine is coming through you, your higher self. And it is hard sometimes, I think, in the beginning, as I said, because we're looking at other people that maybe we think, oh, I just want to be like them. And the thing is, we are them. We're just everything. And it gets mind-boggling if you really start to try to dissect it. So I try not to anymore. But many times, we might feel that, oh, we're being judged by how our tone is, or, our doodles are light language. And when you look at what we're doodling, it really is light language codes flooding into us. But we've been taught, oh, it's doodling, stop doodling. You're not paying attention in class. Um, years ago, I had taken my girls to someone speaking light language with me, and my daughter said, "Mommy, you've been doing that. You've been doing that." And I'm thinking, yeah, like I have been. And she even said, oh, that's kind of like what she and her sister had done when they were little, like their own little language, because they were so open and not comparing themselves to somebody else. But many times I'll get a funny, I had somebody, and I use this example all the time with clients, but they came in, I was given a visual of the Frog Prince, just like you'd see in an illustration in a storybook. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can't say that. I can't say that. Like, that's so silly. And I'm the Frog Prince, the Frog Prince, the Frog Prince. And the visual was becoming stronger and stronger, as well as the message. And so I said it and I started laughing. It was all about transformation coming in for the client, a new way of life that was going to be experiencing, but also kind of not to judge like a book by the cover, because the princess didn't want to kiss the frog. She thought, "Ooh, this is not nice looking," and it was magical. Underneath that facade was just magical. So now it's like I don't care anymore. Whatever is coming through, I'll convey it and I will allow it, because, and the more I've done that, the more I feel I have opened up even more, because I'm letting that human part of me step aside. And if I get caught up in it with something coming through in a session, or for myself, it gets louder and louder and louder and more visual. And then I know, okay, this is it. This is what they're portraying, so I can understand it. And it's becoming more and more of a magical journey, and I'm older. And I was very aware of even some of these things as a young child, a teen, a 20-year-old, into adulthood, and it wasn't always accepted. So past year or two, it's just been like a joyful, wonderful ride to see how more and more people are opening up and gravitating and accepting of it, because, as you say all the time, we're here to really shift things. That's what we came into to do. So, don't judge what's coming out. Like, sing in that shower, dance, because whether it's light language or toning or dancing or writing, it is the vibration of the soul, our own individual soul, which just encompasses everything. So it's just how we're allowing it to vibrate through us to, I guess, to assist. I don't have the words. It's so funny. I have the feeling and thought, but the words are
You're doing fantastic.
are
You're doing fantastic. And one of the things you said that's so key is the human to the side. And some people might say, we're discounting the human, or we're not giving the human enough worth or love. But what I think we're saying is we're asking for balance to be allowed, because the human has been and another couple of words here that can help the mind are the carnal, the flesh, the physical, the everyday life, the 3D, however you want to look at this, has been bombarded with focus. Nothing of the being has been going to any other areas of itself, and so it's the human has begun to see itself as that's all it is. And you have this fear of death, and you have this misunderstanding of the being itself and the consciousness and the energy. And so then you have these spaces of the being pinging, like sending off notification to the human, which is the form that the being is in. You have these notifications coming in saying, remember who you are. And I really, that's what I actually heard. I actually heard those words in my own being echo out. I make a joke of it. It sounded like Lion King or something, but it was, remember who you are. And I heard it in my being, and I was like, oh, who am I? And so I had to start putting my focus in other spaces besides the physical, flesh, carnal, human existence I had given every part of my focus to. But I do want to add this in because it is a truth, all right? And I say a truth because I will not say that I have the truth and nobody else's is valid. I say I have a truth. Now, one important thing to do is to remember all of us that are navigating this, bringing in the balance, allowing the opening, understanding ourselves as human form and also spiritual consciousness, yes? A lot of what has played out in humanity was almost a purposeful type of programming to maintain spaces of flow that were benefiting some spots of humanity, but were not a truth or a benefit for all of humanity. That's a very nice way to put it, I think, without getting into too much density. Which it does matter. Yes, it does matter because the focus expands whatever it's placed upon. And so when we're talking about allowing the human to be the vessel of the consciousness, we're allowing balance. And we're allowing that balance to come into a space of very imbalanced energy, right? And the physical body, mental, physical, emotional, has the flags or notifications of the imbalances. It does. That's why we have energy healers doing the work they're doing, because people are saying, I don't want to take a drug for the rest of my life to band-aid what's wrong with me. I want to heal what's wrong with me. And they are understanding and pinging themselves that they can heal these spaces of their being. It's energetic at its core. It's all energy, everything's energy. So we have these spaces of ourselves unfolding. And when you said we're here for this, you used those words as well. I love that. And and those that follow my channel, anybody who's new here, watch when I get to the end of my videos, even in the very beginning, it's changed a little, but the core has always been, we are here. We are light, we are here. And there is this massive group of us. And I believe Deborah and I are in the same group. I believe we held hands. I think we held hands in another dimensional space of existence. And we said, are you ready? Let's go. And we just went forward to be in this now. We already knew this moment would be here. Our human formats didn't remember it right away, but it was part of the way in which we needed to come in. But we are here for this. We are here to be this light, to be this balance. In 2019, I kept hearing, the light is here, the light is here. And woo, what happened in 2020? The world changed. Yes, things we had never seen before happened, And of course, there are many different interpretations and takes and belief structures on that. But inevitably, I believe at the core of it all is the evolution of humanity, the movement of the consciousness. So, all right, Deborah, now let's touch on a couple spaces. How long have you been in energy healing work?
Well, as far as having a website and actually offering it as a service, probably the past 4 years or so. But even as a child, it was conveyed to me that I had a gift with my hands. People would come to me and sometimes say, "Oh, I just feel so calm being near you." And I did oncology at Sloan Kettering, and they had offered a course at that time back in the 80s on therapeutic touch and how you could just a gentle touch in the back can kind of open up the nervous system to alleviating pain. And then in the 90s, I was doing, hands of light courses, but always reading, always navigating it. And I would see my hands and I would feel like, oh, I have light coming through them. I could see it, but you couldn't tell people that back in the 80s and 90s. They looked at you like, oh, yeah, you're okay. I know the right floor in the hospital for you.
Oh, we laugh, but it's so true. And even now, some of the things we say and do, I'm sure there's a thought in my head now and then that says somebody's probably thinks I'm nuts, but I
But do
know
you
I'm
care
not.
anymore?
I
I
don't.
don't care
And when I
anymore.
stopped, right, when I stopped caring, everything got more powerful. All of the spaces I was offering became like no one could discount it. Like anybody that was connecting with it was blown away. So, you said that earlier, once you open the door, and you allow, you trust yourself and you allow, everything starts opening up. When did you decide to lean into AQE, Acasma Quantum Energy, the teachings we do here?
I think I knew I wanted to do it right from the very moment that I saw the first video, and it just felt so spiritual, but not like religion. It was a higher vibration. It was just oh, it was magnificent, and it just spoke to my heart. And I thought, oh, I want to try to navigate this just to help myself open up more and learn. And then I thought, oh, I really want to. It seems kind of interesting because like I as I said, I felt like I was resonating with what you were doing and saying, and I'm thinking, I think I kind of do that a little, right? Because we are, but we've labeled it so many different names, and I just thought, and I've just loved it. I can't get enough of it, and for myself, for my own growth, but as I'm growing and learning about it and getting the confirmation of what's already been in my mind and heart, it's just blossoming even more. um, I feel, for people I'm working with or people asking about it.
Beautiful. So you did the Acasma Quantum Energy, the Foundations course,
Yes.
and you have also done or are doing, I should say, and are doing
Everything.
the Acasma Galactic Shaman course as well,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is a very interesting space in itself. We're so vast, so it's so fun to have so many spaces that are allowing us, right? So you shared one with me the other day via email, and we don't want to divulge any personal information because we respect those that we connect with. But when we work with Acasma Quantum Energy, we work with higher dimensional beings of light, and we understand ourselves as those same spaces as well, but we're in this format with a focal point of this now. And we work with higher dimensional, higher vibrational technologies. That's a really big thing. That's really cool about Acasma Quantum
Yeah.
Energy and the work we do. Because, yes, we have energetic keys, like many of the other modalities that humans have been working with, but we also have higher dimensional technologies. And we have documented this time and time again with practitioner after practitioner, facilitator after facilitator in their client spaces, and then the movement of the energy and the healing coming in for the clients themselves. So you had a session the other day. Can you take us into some of the spaces just to relay
Yeah.
the awe and wonder of what a facilitator might experience with that space of the technologies and the higher dimensional beings?
Yes. So this wonderful woman, um, recently diagnosed with um, stage 3 breast cancer, and and she came in, and we were talking beforehand, just some of her thoughts about the diagnosis, and you know as she's going to be navigating what she's chosen to do for treatment. And when first started working with her, I was doing the root reconnection, and I wasn't feeling or seeing any energy flowing through the legs. And I immediately got a visual of the legs being crushed, most likely past lifetime of hers, or maybe ancestrally of other women that maybe the pain's been carried down through. And oh, the Mother Earth came in, and was talking about, she was sending beautiful healing energy, green light, gold light, almost like football jersey colors, like the colors of a school, like rah, rah, rah. I'm in my school colors. But it was so nurturing, sending it up, talking about, different ways for the human of her to connect, um, making, um, like making a broth, saying, make a broth of your vegetables of the sea, your kelp, but your root vegetables and a marrow, and very visual, like a bone with like the marrow actually in it, for fortification. Because when you think about it, surgery, chemo weakens the body. So it was fortification. And then this wonderful woman came, what we would probably call like an old crone, um, but was cradling her, spoon feeding her, wiping the tears away. Just so nurturing. It was really, I just felt that love. I felt the love of you know the the soul of the earth flooding in, but this probably an ancestor or guide or angel coming in to nourish her and again give her sustenance and comfort. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. um and then doing the other reconnections, were coming in, and all of a sudden I get like a flash of Wonder Woman, but I'm not seeing, I'm just seeing this, like these golden cups of light flooding in, centering themselves right over her breasts, sacred geometry, spiraling golden light around the cups. They're each separate. And it felt, just as you said, those higher technologies, galactic technologies coming in, but lighting up the area. They then came in. I saw a chastity belt, old, rusty, ancient looking, being removed, and a beautiful golden metallic girdle being placed around her waist and hips. And again, higher dimensional technologies. And later she had expressed that she had also had issues in the past with her ovaries and uterine fibroids and everything. But even before she had come, when you're getting ready to see a client, a lot of times information is already flooding in. And I had written down kelp. I had written down harlot. And I had felt, oh, there's like trauma, or maybe a past lifetime of a woman just expressing sexuality, or maybe in the wrong time and place, or, how religious persecution was in ancient times. But during the session, I saw, stoning, um, the hair being, shorn, that beauty of, her glorious hair just being like shorn off very cruelly, the breasts being, um, mutilated. Um, and I got the sense of like religious, you know, persecution way back, whoever knows when. Maybe, she was considered a heretic or something with whoever was in charge back then. And again, ancestral, most likely as well, many lifetimes. Um, but then, the soul reconnection wanted to come in to give, you know, um, all those spaces that we really don't need to carry. We know they're there, but we don't need to necessarily bring them into this lifetime to kind of, it's nice to know they're there, but we don't need it any longer. And then, the golden light is flooding in to the anterior fontanelle. It's making a connection with the third eye, the mouth of God, and it formed like a metal triangle, not equilateral. It was definitely, on equal sides. And I just saw it coming forward. It was like a fan, just one triangle after another, fanning down through her column of light and down into the earth, and then the body just like lighting up. But again, allowing feeling of all of those cell um, cell storage of all of the past trauma that we carry in our cells, our body, our muscles, our mind, and again, aligning with the third eye and the mouth to not be afraid to speak her truth. It's a safe place now. She's in a safe place, and it was really very, very beautiful. With the Sacred Heart coming in, doves flew in carrying a field of dreams. And they said it, field of dreams. And I just saw like a meadow, beautiful meadow being carried in by the doves into the heart space, and, you know, um, healing those areas. And then a blanket of light, which we call, the shield of love, um, like to offer comfort, but healing of the body, healing of those heart spaces that we have. Um, because, she's grieving. She's grieving her good health, um, and, grieving all different spaces, loss of parts of her body, of what, and many of us in our human form consider, oh, this is our beauty, our hair, our, our breasts, our femininity. Um, and then it was very interesting because, um, sea creatures flooded in, mermaids flooded in, you know, bringing in waves of beautiful light, waters of light, sacred waters, healing waters, chalice of life. I always get a different verbiage. And I don't question it. Well, however they want to express it at the time, it's all good. Um, and offering her the cup to drink from, to bring that love and light and healing into, her inner body, her muscles, her bones, just, because we are essentially water. But they were bringing her comfort and love. And an old tortoise comes in, beautiful shell, just golden, you know, and said, oh, like the human body is just a shell. It's like you're just light. It's just a shell covering your light. That's your beauty. That's your beauty. Um, and it really was beautiful. She fell asleep. She went into a deep sleep very, very quickly. And we talked about it afterwards. She remembered a few things here and there, but you could see, she loved, the Wonder Woman breasts coming on, the shield and the girdle, and it felt like it was giving. She said, "Oh, I feel like I'm getting strength. I'm getting healing. It's I am being fortified." Like she felt it after the session, um, which was, it's always wonderful. Um, but again, it's like remembrance. This is just it's like not even real, like our form, muscles, bones, it's not real. It's just like a, like a sack of bones and muscles and skin that we put on, but we're really just light. And we are that spark, and more, like it's just understand we are that spark of creation. And oh, it's just beautiful. I can't even convey how much I love this. I love doing it. I love participating in it for myself, because it's just, when you're facilitating, and I'm going to get emotional, when you're facilitating a session, I myself will just feel almost like rapture coming in. Really, my own heart opening up. So it's not just healing, helping somebody else recognize who they are. It's opening us up more to who we are. And when you get that joy and that rapture running through you, oh, you just want to keep it. You that's why I do more and more classes.
I understand completely, and it is now basically all I do. I mean, I wake up, I move right into the space, working with people all over the world allots you that ability as well, because somebody is always awake and ready to to be doing this space. But also then, it's like interesting you brought in the rapture and the space infusing us, because energy healing modalities, some people, I've worked with a lot of different healers in a lot of different spaces of teachings, but so many times I'll hear light workers say they're drained, they feel like and even people have asked for sessions and they'll say, I could really use some of your energy. And that's a program and misconception that it allots for that density to be available to anyone who's aligning with that program, that belief structure, that understanding. Yes, absolutely. And it's not a judgment, it's information. That's what this is, information. It's not a judgment, it's information. I lived in those spaces, so I know them, right? But I allowed the expansion of my understanding to this space that we're in now, and we know we're ever expanding. So this isn't the be all end all. This is the opening up of the, expansiveness of us. But that rapture space you speak of, that it's, for me, it's like it's rejuvenating, it's restorative, it's so hard to put English words on them, or even human words, period. But it's a space of bliss. I tell the students, and you probably have heard me say this before, that I think what we connect into when we do an Acasma Quantum Energy session as a facilitator, a practitioner of it, and what our clients are being connected into by this space with us, or our family members or friends, or if you're just doing this for yourself. Deborah's been so good to mention that self space, yes. But what we're connecting into, I think, is similar to what people that have near-death experiences talk about when they say that they moved into this space where there was no pain, there was no sorrow, there was no separation, there was no lack, there was this immense amount of peace, an immense amount of love, of feeling home, of joy. We're tapping into that. That is the divine. And by allowing ourselves to expand into these spaces where that's what we're gaining those glimmers of, those connection points of. And like you say, wanting more and more, that's where we're headed. We're multidimensional beings. We started off with that, right, in this conversation. We're not linear. We're not a 70, 80, 90-year range of existence. We are multidimensional, vast, divine light inhabiting and experiencing itself in these various forms. So how extraordinary. Now, Deborah's feedback was of an Acasma Quantum Energy session space with her client. All spaces are different. They will always be deeply connected for the client. So because everyone has a different belief structure, that plays a role in what we see for them as the facilitators of the space. If we have someone who is in the Christian religion, we might see Jesus when Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary. If we have someone who is more geared towards working with angels or star beings, whatever the connotation, whatever the understanding of the being, the client that we're working with is, we tend to see that play a role in how they are bringing themselves a message, whatever's coming to us as a facilitator to relay to them. And she saw the crone, she saw the kelp, she saw the the sea turtle, she saw all these spaces for her, right? Deborah saw these spaces for her client. And so these also, most of the time, 99.9, will have a connective point for the client as well. Sometimes they don't know it at first or really lock in at first, but they may write us days later and go, I forgot, but I've had this like little statue of a sea turtle for like 20 years and it's in the back of my bookshelf or something. Like these crazy cool things will happen where they realize they actually were trying to bring themselves these messages in other various ways throughout their life, and then they show up in this space. They have this ACASMA Quantum Energy session and the clarity is amplified and brought forth to them. So that's just incredible. Now, all facilitators see differently, feel differently, register differently, interpret differently, but we do teach a set space of understanding to give everybody a groundwork to work with, a foundation to work with. And then we say, trust yourself and allow, which is what you were talking about in the very beginning. We're not rigid. We do not say you have to do it this way. I give you an idea of what I know works, and then I allow you to be you. You allow you to be you. So that's fantastic. So real quick, I'll just show you this because we're talking about it. So this is the book that goes with the course Deborah took, that she's talking about, that she's facilitating energy sessions for her clients with, the ACASMA Quantum Energy. That's where you get the AQE in the title of the book, AQE Foundations. Now, do you have to take the course in order to move into these higher spaces of yourself? Or could you just get the book? Yes, you can just get the book. Now, Deborah, you have the book as well. So now, do you have feedback on the book, as in if you were not going to take the course, if you were just going to read the book, what would you?
I think just reading the book, it's just so, it's very eloquent, but it's simply put, because sometimes you read books and you're like, oh boy, this is right. A little hard for my brain to handle at the end of the day. It's just so easy. It just flows so easily. You could read it and have never had any understanding or knowledge of anything metaphysical or energy healing or anything, and you can understand it. It's beautiful. It's just beautifully written, and it's really step by step by step. So we all know it's light encoded. So whether you're going to use it, as learning to facilitate the sessions for yourself or other people, it's activation for you as you're reading it.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I love that. How powerful to be simplistic and able to be understood, but at the same time activate the higher consciousness within the being. And I'm not trying to be conceited about what I wrote. A lot of people said, why are you giving people so much information in this book? Why don't you save some of it and make them learn it in the course? Because really you don't make money on books. Anybody who's ever written a book, maybe if you're J.K. Rowling and you have Harry Potter series in your pocket, but the book is not about that as much as it is about, I believe you can't outgive. Some say God, some say universe, some say source, some say the understanding of love. You can't outgive it. And if you come in with the understanding and the vibration that we are all one, yes, And so, how would I want the other spaces of myself to be living? I would want all the spaces of the divine to have the understanding of its glory. So, the book, it offers the spaces for you to connect in and remember who you are at wherever you're coming. Like Deborah said, you know nothing about energy. You've lived a very, physical based life, bills, job, the structure of his human society. And there's no understanding of energy. Meet you right there where you're at. Meet you right
Mhm.
there where you are at. And like she said, there's activating spaces in it. So even as you're reading a sentence that can be a simplistic sentence of you are energy, well,
Right.
your mind just read those words, but your energy body, yes, is picking up on and activating and registering the energy of those words. That's what she means by that. It's activating. Yes. Now, why would you take the course then if everything's in the book? Why would you take
You're
the
going
course?
to want to, because you're going to want more.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. And there is a lot more in the course. And I work with the students weekly in attuning. So you work directly with me in an attuning session once a week, because this is the way I look at it. The book allows you, if you don't take the course, to be able to work on yourself, to be able to be present for your family and your friends in the sense of understanding what we are and how we are evolving and healing. The course allows you to then, if you choose to, move into the space of facilitating for others, being a certified AQE facilitator. There's a lot of information available because you get a portal. So that's like a website that you go to, and it's dedicated solely to the ACASMA Quantum Energy course. And in there are videos and PDFs and audios, meditations, so much. It's actually getting so big, I think I might have to weed it out soon. But we do connect live twice a month right now. Anybody who's in the course, and this is another really good thing that I think I love that we offer it this way. Anybody who's in the course can come to those lives, even if they did the course a year ago, even if they just joined the course, 3 months ago, but they finished the 9 week space because there's 9 weeks of specific class space videos, and then 2 lives a month with me, and then in a tuning session weekly. So there's a lot offered with the course. Self-expansion is always the first thing on the table, always. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you will be exhilarated by the expansion of you and the activation of you and the remembrance of you. And then whatever you choose to do with that is up to you. But the course is offered on my website. Information is below the video. And then once you're invested in it, registered for it, as long as that portal is available, which is most likely as long as I'm breathing in physical format, you have access to the materials. And I add to it every single month, So it's a fantastic space. And it's also a space of support. Deborah can speak on this as well because she's joined we have a group chat on a Discord server. And so again, in that portal, you get a link and you can join us. Deborah's in that chat group. Deborah's vocal in that chat group, and which is lovely, but you don't have to be. We have plenty who come through there and we never know they're in there, but I know they're reading because then they email me and they say, I read this and it was so beautiful and blah, blah, blah. But they're not comfortable sharing in the chat. And maybe that's you. That's fine. We welcome everyone. When we do Zoom classes, cameras on, cameras off. There's no rigidity. There's no, you have to be a certain way. The door is open to you right where you are at in the way you're comfortable being you. And that's, I believe, optimal for everyone. So Deborah, the chat, do you love the chat? Do you love the portal? Do you have anything to say?
I love the portal. I love the chat too, but the portal, being able to access it over and over and over again, um, is just so beneficial because each time you're accessing it, you're picking up on something else. Especially for me, I have a very hectic um, 3D life with my job. I can't always, majority of the time, I can't make the live classes, but being able to, even a few days later, um, usually when I'm driving, I'll access the class space, and I can listen to it. I often go to bed at night listening to the activations, or what you call the C2C, consciousness to consciousness meditations. Um, eh, to me, that's amazing, because there's been classes I've taken, and or even just um, something being put, that you're paying for, and I can't make it, and I paid for it, and then it's kind of gone, and I'm always disappointed then. But this, I just love it. And even with like the galactic shamanism course, um, you're doing the live, it was a live session at the time you first introduced the course. So as we're doing it, we can follow along with you. Uh, I haven't done all of them for myself, but I'm listening to them over and over and over again, each one. So it's like filling me up, and it's really resonating, um, kind of going into my own memory, soul memory, probably. So when I go to offer each one, you know, it's, I don't know, like you can kind of navigate it, or maybe feel a little bit more, oh, I've got this. Um, uh, you know, and as you say, you kind of tweak it. If you don't have, um, the red cloth, you're visually bringing it in. Um, so it's wonderful. It's really step by step. It's as if you're in the room with you, watching you do it. So I love it. Uh, I love it. I go back, I revisit the classes all the time, mm, all of the spaces, you know. Like I missed all of yesterday's classes because of work. So I know later today and tonight I'm going to be listening to them. But it's like I eagerly await, the classes, the spaces. And
That's
then you
beautiful.
offer so many extra little um, bonuses that I call like extra tidbits. It's like the sprinkles on the cupcake.
I love to do it, and I love the connection we all have together. It's such a powerful, beautiful space. And I love that you relayed you have a busy life. You have a busy, what we call 3D physicality life. And yet you are still allowing that balance. You are making space for the spiritual space of yourself, even if it's falling asleep listening to, or
Right.
driving listening to, you're finding a space to allow that for you. And how empowering. Thank you for seeing you and hearing you and allowing you. And that's, I feel like that's why we ended up with the courses the way we did, because I used to run them live only, and I'd have videos available for the students, but I'd only run the courses for certain blocks of time. And so then people would come and they'd say, oh, I missed it. So I thought, how can I do this where no one misses anything? Because we have different time zones, we have different schedule spaces. And so these portals, and every course I offer, and you can go to my website and just go to courses in the menu, and you'll see what I offer. They're all open registration right now. So they always will be. I think the only ones that wouldn't be is like I have a Grandmaster course, and that's a little bit different because of the way you have to have prereqs to be in that space. But and the master's course, but the AQE Foundations course is always open registration. The Acasma Galactic Shaman is always open registration. The sound healing and light language course, which is a beautiful space we just opened up recently, and that's open registration. So all of these spaces are available to you, whatever schedule you have, wherever you are on the planet. And Deborah, your feedback has been incredibly empowering, enlightening. welcoming and beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing it with us. I say this sometimes when I meet with people online like this and make these videos, but I really mean it. I feel like there's a whole lot more here that we could go into. Are you open to future shares? Can we do this again?
Yes, yes. And I want to just share your love for doing this and your love for doing the YouTube. It shows. And it's so beautiful because, there are people out there that they're healers, but they're going through the motions, and it's not always coming out anymore from the heart, and it just shows. And I do have to say, part of why I listen to it over and over and over again is because I could listen to it and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I listened to. I have no memory of it because, and I don't question it anymore
Good for you. Yeah.
because I know it's going deep. So either I'm falling asleep with it, I'm going into a theta state, ending up someplace else that I wasn't driving to. But it's being processed on I think sometimes a much higher level. But I'm always so curious, well, what did I miss? So I listen to it again and I'm picking up more. Okay. And then it's all of a sudden, it's like I've completely lost that space of time because I'm sure we're navigating into another space, and absorbing it or doing things that we're not remembering in the human space that we are. So it's just joyful. It's just joyful, um, for me. And I as I work through these courses I'm taking right now, um, I'm already thinking, oh, the goddess course is next. And the teacher, the master course is right there with it.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful. I love it.
I love it. As soon as I saw you that very first time, I knew. I just knew. It's like my soul knew. So it's just wonderful. I can't thank you enough for really, putting yourself out there and creating these, I'm going to cry, these spaces because it's just beautiful. And I use a lot of discernment with who I will let do energy healing on me and who I will listen to. So, yeah.
Thank you. I'm honored by your kindness. I am honored by your honesty and your space here, bringing in all of this. Thank you for trusting you and opening up you and meeting me here. I really know we came in here together, and many of us did so. Many of us did so, and that is a really big space of the emotion we feel, because we do feel it, it's real. It's actually 100% real, and it's only getting bigger. It's only expanding more, So I'm really excited about it, and I will get in touch with you privately, Deborah. We'll find another space for more, but I feel like we could go into so many spaces of what is it to be multidimensional? How do you deal with 3D people when you're realizing multidimensional? How do all these spaces that I think could be really helpful to people that we just have some sideline conversations on. So thank you for being open and willing, and thank you for this time we've spent here today.
Thank you.
I'm deeply grateful, and thank you to each and every one of you who were here with us in this space and who are listening to themselves and who are leaning in and allowing you. Thank you. All the spaces of your vastness, thank you. Your ancestors, thank you. And this is on-world and off-world. So please know that. Yes? Yarasoane, Iana Keakua, Tabuane, Tabuane, Tabuane. Blessings, Holy